Hey guys, good evening. This is Meteorologist Michelle Trotter with a quick weather update. Let me get this going and then I'll jump in front of the wall. Awesome. Okay. Sweet. So this is looking right now at RDOT and the road conditions. So what you're seeing is traffic. We have some employees that are stopped on I-49 going southbound for now an hour. That's where you see that dark red in West Fork. It's because there's an accident right now in West Fork, but they've been sitting there for about an hour or even more, not really moving, kind of just stopped there. And so if you have to go down to Fort Smith today, maybe try to find an alternate route or just maybe wait till tomorrow because this is still pretty bad traffic that they're seeing, and it's been like this for a good hour or two. Other than that, though, the forecast right now, the camera doesn't want to work right now, but this is Bacola. We have overcast skies. If you look at the satellite radar right now, most of the precipitation, most of the moisture has moved out of here across the Ozarks. We're seeing some snow, but the River Valley is not really seeing as much as Northwest Arkansas did. So that is some good news. I don't think we're going to see a lot of ice accumulations in the River Valley. We did see some across Northwest Arkansas around 4 to 5 o'clock, of course, during the evening commute. They have expired a lot of the winter weather advisories for Northwest Arkansas, but there's only one that continues across our area, and that is in Johnson County, so that includes Clarksville. Where you have that purple is that winter weather advisory. It goes till about 10 o'clock, so about an hour and a half or so more of this, and then we're going to be done. Notice most of the precipitation has moved out of here. We still have a little bit of pink across the River Valley. That's in Johnson County where they have that winter weather advisory. But everything else, Northwest Arkansas, most of the River Valley, we're done for the night. So that's some good news. Driving back here from dinner, I noticed the roads were actually not too bad on I-49 and also around Tinytown, Springdale. But the National Weather Service is worried about a lot of the ice did melt on the roads, but they're worried about it's going to refreeze overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. So that's especially for Washington, Madison, and Carroll counties. So be careful if you are in Washington, Madison, or Carroll County, because that could, what already has unfrozen, basically, or defrosted, or whatever you want to call it, it can freeze again, and so that could cause more ice going through the overnight hours tonight. So something to keep an eye on for Northwest Arkansas if you have to drive out for tomorrow morning. But this is right now. You can see some winter mix trying to happen across Johnson County. A little bit of snow trying to happen right now just east of Paris as well. But other than that, though, we're overcast across the River Valley, actually seeing some clear conditions across Northwest Arkansas. Those clear conditions means that the temperatures are really going to drop. What happens at night, so if you have overcast skies or cloudy skies at night, that kind of acts like a blanket for the temperatures and kind of keeps you warm. But if you have clear skies at night, that allows temperatures to drop completely down to tomorrow, the teens for us, for example, across Northwest Arkansas. It's going to be cold tomorrow, but not as cold for the River Valley because they're still having that cloud cover right now. But we're already in the 20s across Northwest Arkansas. We're in the 30s right now in Fort Smith. Taking a close look at the temperatures, we're at 23 degrees in Bentonville, if I can spit that out. But this morning, we started off in the 50s, and some of us in the River Valley actually reached the 60s. And we had that cold front push throughout the day. So what happened is that we had our high temperature for the day at midnight last night. And then just throughout the whole day, it just dropped. And you probably noticed it going outside, like it kept getting colder and colder after every hour or so. But we're right now in the 20s across Northwest Arkansas. The River Valley is still above freezing at this hour. So thankfully, all that moisture, all that precipitation did push out. And we're not going to see a lot of ice accumulations or even any across the River Valley. So that's some good news for you guys. 30 degrees right now in Fort Smith. We're still pretty warm at Boonville at 37 degrees and Poto at 32 degrees at this hour. Another thing you probably noticed today, it was breezy. That cold front pushed through, and you just probably noticed the winds picked up quite a bit. So right now we're seeing wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour with that north wind, and that north wind with that wind gust up to 25 miles per hour, that's going to play a huge effect for tomorrow morning. So our air temperature tomorrow will be in the teens, but that breezy north wind is going to make it feel like the single digits to close to zero, even some negatives across Benton County, and it's all because of that north wind. So if it wasn't so breezy, we wouldn't be as cold, but this breezy north winds will stick with us throughout the day tomorrow. But this is what it feels like right now, the wind chill values. It feels like 8 degrees outside in Bentonville, but if you go back to the current temperature, it's in the teens, and so it's just that breezy wind bringing that cooler air. It feels like 23 degrees right now in Fort Smith when that air temperature is really 33 degrees. So this model's kind of overdoing it for 8 o'clock, but if you notice by 9 to 9:30 in the next hour or so, it quickly pushes out of Clarksville and out of our area. So all of us should be dry in the next hour or so. You can see that cloud cover kind of sticking around the river valley around 10 o'clock and then completely pushing out of here as we head throughout the overnight hours tonight. And then of course more clouds do move in from the east, and temperatures though will still be pretty chilly by tomorrow morning. Excuse me. So Thursday morning, temperatures will be in the teens. Here's what we're looking at for tomorrow morning: the low teens across northwest Arkansas, and then the upper teens to low 20s across the river valley. But that future wind chill that feels like temperature for tomorrow morning, this is what one model is saying that it could feel like for tomorrow morning. So this one's saying that it could feel like -1 degrees in Benton County, Bentonville, feel like 0 across Fayetteville, and also feel like the teens across the river valley. So if you have to go to work tomorrow, or if your kids are in school, they have to go back to school, make sure they layer up. Tomorrow is not a day to forget your sweater, your heavy coat, or maybe your scarves, your beanie, whatever you can to keep warm. Tomorrow is going to be a cold day, probably the coldest day that we're going to see so far this year, basically this whole season, this whole winter season. So it's going to be a cold one tomorrow, and that cold front that pushed through today has a lot of Arctic cold air behind it, and that's why temperatures are dropping so cold for tomorrow. Another thing for tomorrow is that our highs will be in the 20s, but that breezy north wind was going to stick with us throughout the day tomorrow, so that's going to make it feel like the teens to 20s all day long. So it's going to be a brutally cold Thursday, and Thursday night to Friday, it's not going to be as bad as tonight, but it's still going to be pretty cold waking up for Friday morning. I feel like temperatures in the single digits as well. So next 7 days, notice we're on a warming trend. Of course, I feel like this is what we've been doing the past few weeks. We get cold, we get warm, we go back to the 60s, we get cold, blah, blah, blah. So tomorrow we're at 27 degrees. We're going to go above freezing on Friday and then actually warm up all the way to the 50s by Monday. A lot of sunshine's in the forecast after this, so that's some good news. The one thing to keep an eye on for next week is our next storm system, which is going to move through on Tuesday into Wednesday. Right now it's a 20% chance of rain, but notice the temperatures 40, which is just above freezing. And then notice the low temperatures are in the teens to 20s, so that rain chance, if that goes to when temperatures are below freezing, we can see another wintry mix system across northwest Arkansas and also across the river valley. So something to keep an eye on for next week. But this weekend, though, if you have any plans, it's going to be kind of cold on Saturday, warm up to the 50s by Sunday, and actually even reaching the 60s by Monday afternoon. And then that cold front, our next storm system, will push through on Tuesday into Wednesday. Highs will drop down to the 40s, with a little bit of rain chance in there as well. We'll have more on your forecast and more on your news coming up tonight at 5 News at 10. Stick with us. We'll have more coming up a little later.